remember that my school desk at home protected me if I jumped underneath of it, held my head during the nuclear attack from Russia. I'm not sure that my United States Senate desk, if I jump underneath of it and hold my head, will protect me this time. And that's putting it mildly. With that being said, much has been written about the new hybrid style of warfare practiced by the Russians recently in Georgia, Crimea, and Ukraine. To be brief, Russia believes the lines between war and peace are blurred. Wars are no longer declared and no longer fought in a traditional manner. And the power of non-military means to achieve objectives exceeds the power of weapons and effectiveness. Some label it the Gerasimov doctrine, which is a combination of political, military, economic, social, and media means to achieve Russian strategic objectives. In the United States, we would call this a whole of government approach. So my question would be to any of you, and I'll start with you, Mr. Watts, if possible, is Russia's meddling in our 2016 elections proof the United States is dealing with a nation that is acting in its own warlike manner?
Yes. Would you like me to comment on some? Yeah, so there are 7 or 8 things we could do immediately that are not very complicated.
And my desk is not going to save me this time, right?
No, and I'll tell you right now, I'm going to walk out of here today. I'm going to be cyber attacked. I'm going to be discredited by trolls. You know, my biggest fear isn't being on Putin's hit list or psychological warfare targeting. I've been doing that for 2 years. My biggest concern right now is I don't know what the American stance is on Russia and who's going to take care of me. I mean, after years in the Army and the FBI, working in the intel communities today, I'm going to walk out of here and ain't nobody going to be covering my back. I'm going to be on my own. And so that's very disconcerting. And I think that speaks to what we need to do. One, in terms of falsehoods, we need to do 2 things. We need a State Department and a DHS website that immediately refute when falsehoods are put out. These seem silly when they come out. Incirlik, terrorist attack, for example. But the quicker they're refuted, the faster they die in social media. We caught the Incirlik attack because it was refuted quickly. When the Russians fake it, it gets exposed. If it goes on too long, it gets into mainstream media and it runs out of control. The other part is the FBI. They're doing a great job in terms of investigating hacking, but the hacking powers influence. Whenever there's a hack, we should immediately go in and look at what was stolen and figure out what is the anticipated smear campaign discrediting, how is this going to be weaponized and influenced. The next one I think is super important, which is educating U.S. businesses. Treasury and Commerce right now need to be doing awareness campaigns. Their companies suffer smear campaigns from foreign countries right now, which change their stock prices. Their employees are in social media and are being picked off through social engineering and hacked at. The other part really is in the private sector and the public sector that we need to look at. Mainstream media companies, we need to be working with them. What if they boycotted WikiLeaks collectively? What if they all didn't race to publish too quickly? If those damaging, stolen information that is misconstrued oftentimes doesn't get into the mainstream media, if all of them block it out, Russia's influence dies on the vine. And the last thing I think is the social media companies. Whether we like it or not, social media has become the news provider for almost all Americans. Our preferences shape what we see, and our friends share stuff with us, and it reinforces our views. And so I think that for them, they're worried about these state-sponsored groups in their systems and how it's going to erode their